right, you're still watching Cypher Breakfast Show. Now to kickstart our first conversation, waste in Nigeria, especially in the part of this country, is often considered as unwanted, clumsy or non-productive materials. AUN is now changing the narratives. Now, do you know that the waste you see today around you is actually in itself an opportunity for wealth creation? Cash for Trash is a collaboration with the AUN Sustainability Team and the Environmental Care Foundation are turning environmental challenges into a health and wealth creation. Now, how imperative is this innovation? To shed more light on this, we're being joined by Jennifer Paul, founder Cash for Trash, and Lahiru Chiroma, head teacher, Worocheke Nursery and Primary School. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Jennifer.
Interesting.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Pleasure's all mine.
That's great.
Compliment of the season, right? Yeah, we're saying for the first time.
Yes, actually.
Nice to see you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right, Jennifer, just set a premise for this discussion. What gave birth to this idea?
Okay, coming into Yola for the first time as a core member, the first thing I noticed as an environmentalist was the indiscriminate dumping of waste. So I noticed that there was so many trash everywhere, even in schools, because we had to have different CDS projects that took us to other schools, group projects. So when it got me thinking, like it posed a need in my heart to try to come up with something as regards the waste, the indiscriminate dumping of waste. And boom, we had our CDS project as an opportunity. They said every core member should, it's not like it's compulsory, but then if you can, you should carry out a personal project or a group project. So I thought I should actually do something in that light, and I had done similar thing at my University of Jos, the same waste management, and I decided I thought I should replicate the same thing here. So I got talking with, I had the best platform, actually, AUN. I got talking with one of the instructors, Jennifer Chair, and first I spoke with my supervisor there, that's Dr. Lee, that's Dr. Oh my God, Matthias Foncam, yeah. So he was really thrilled by the idea, and then he handed me over to the sustainability team, which was headed at the time by Jennifer Chair, and she introduced me to the entire team. And since then, like, it's just been my idea working out as planned. So yeah.
Now, when somebody hears trash for cash, you know. Cash for trash again, and you begin to wonder how feasible can that be, you know, having known the fact that enabling environment to translating that into reality has been a challenge, you know. Isn't that sort of a challenge also to you?
Well, it depends on the kind of waste you're managing, the kind of trash, yeah. But there are actually very simple waste that we generate that you can easily convert to something else. For the school, they generate more of paper waste. And if they generate more of paper waste, working with the AUN Sustainability Team, I learned that you can actually squash. We all did it as kids. Like you squash papers, papier-mâché, and mold something with it. So that's like very, very easy. It's less cost effective. It's fun, like so much fun to do, because when you're pounding, it's like you're pounding the local, like our local meal, tuwo, apple, you understand? And then after pounding, you just get to put it into your mold, and then when it's gotten the form, you just take it out, and then when it's dry, you just get paint, give it, like we had fun last Saturday, right? Like we were painting and doing some beautiful things with the kids, and you just find out that you're making money while managing what you call waste, because there's really no waste for now. Like it's actually an opportunity. So
the last project you did, if I remember, was with one of the schools where you dug
a waste bank.
Yes. For them and all of that. So how did that go?
It was perfect.
The school is still maintaining it?
They are. They have they have days that they just go around, pick all the beans, because I did not just dig the pits, I also give them beans. So they carry the beans, all the trash in it, dump in the bank, and then when the bank is so full, they just go. And he was actually the head teacher at that time before he moved to the next school. So they've been really working alongside their community guys. So it's not just for the school. So yeah, they've been managing it pretty well.
So you're still very impressed at what they are doing.
Like, I can never be more proud than I am. Like, I'm so happy seeing them embracing the idea and running with it like it's all
So
theirs.
I asked that so I can have a clue or a cue to what I would talk to Hero about. Now, when she came with that initiative, so to say, in your school, and of course before she came with that, the school has been generating a lot of trash and all of that without proper, disposal kind of mechanism and all that. So what difference has that created in the school?
It has created a significant difference in the school, because formerly we used to use fire to burn our waste papers and the plastic in the school.
Which invariably adding to global
air pollution.
air pollution and of course
Climate change.
Climate change, that's the word.
Climate change. So with the coming of this very interesting program, Cash for Trash, we have been educated on how to reduce, reuse and recycle our waste materials. So the school and the community embrace it so seriously. Even the management of our LEA, local government education authorities, and our community leaders, they were very impressed, because many of us now have learned how to reuse our waste materials like these papers. So now in my school I have a Cash for Trash club. Both teachers and pupils now.
It's interesting.
So now it's interesting in the school. You see pupils with this younger age, they are trying to mold a seat for themselves. If you can see the pictures of what we did in our schools, is quite interesting. So we are really impressed, and I'm encouraging myself and the entire schools to continue doing that, because it has reduced the problem of seeing papers littered all over. I've seen that, and these plastic rubbers. Now, since we have now gotten a West Bank, the West Bank is now divided into two segments, where we are dumping these papers.
You sort them out.
And then we have another segment for the plastic rubbers. So when we keep it there, at the end of the day, we are now going to bring it out, soak it, then produce a stool. There is what we call paper seat now. In my school, we have many of it.
I wish you had come with any of it. Right?
Yes.
I'm interested in the papers too. How durable?
In fact, after soaking the papers for some days, then they will use this, what we call mortar, to use pistol to pound it. After that, then you will get a container. According to the size of the seat you want. You know, these pupils in our school, they have different size, different height. Like in the lower primary, in the junior classes, we did the one for these younger ones. We use smaller containers. And in the higher classes, we use the bigger one. So in my school now, we have this Cash for Trash. We train them how to make seats. So now the Cash for Trash club is in my school now, right now, presently.
You know, interestingly, before now, we know schools in rural communities do suffer, lack of furnitures in their classrooms and all of that, which of course we've been calling on government and many Nigerians to, come to the aid of school and all that. If the government, for instance, or maybe any philanthropy or anybody that piques interest in, what do you think this would do to changing the issue of furnitures in schools today?
It's quite interesting. The government is trying her effort, but the schools are so many in the country.
What I'm saying is, do you think the government or anybody should imbibe and, join this particular team of yours to see how they can use all of this trash and waste we have in the community to produce a paper stool, chairs, whatever it is?
The education of our children is a collaborative effort. It's not the effort of government alone. It's the effort of the community, the teachers, and the government too. So since the government is playing her part, we as the community and the teachers, we need to also play our role to improve the standard of education in our countries and in the local government.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, right, I think he's also trying to say that we have support already from the ES.
Okay.
We have support from the local government chairman. They've been around for different events we've had, and whenever they come around, they're like, we want this to be in all schools. So they're really supportive. They really like the idea, and they want it to move. So yeah, it's
all right, Jennifer, of course, there could be certain limitations to what you can recycle.
Sure.
Can you let us through some of the things that, let us say the first-hand things that you could recycle within this Yola metropolis that you've seen?
Okay, yeah, most obvious, you have the paper. And then now we do not have the pelletizing machine for plastics. But then even if you cannot pelletize your plastics so that they can be used for other things, you could still reuse them. So the waste that cannot be recycled for now can actually be put into other uses. Like for the plastics, if they can't be recycled, if they cannot be processed because there are no big machineries, you can use them for construction. If you go to AUN, they have different beautiful things they've done with plastics.
I remember the one they did with the plastic bricks or bottle.
Thank you. Yes, there are different things. You can even build a classroom with plastics. That's where we are actually headed. But then, the said room wasn't built in a day. So we're getting there soon. And then ECF also comes in play with tree planting. So instead of having to go buy polythene bags to put your soil and then put your tree. Now we're using those plastic bottles like we discussed. You slash it in half, put the soil in it, and then burrow a hole, and then cut the under too, so that the soil can still the roots can go deep into the soil. Thank you. So there are different other ways. Like we are making do with what we have for now, and we're making the most use of it. And it's very important to state that we have these kids on board so that they can start thinking of other ways that we can also manage what we have, even if they're not enough funding. Because I believe money is very important.
Of course.
Then you get what I'm saying. So for now, for the small stuff, we can make do with what we have.
So aside reusing all of this trash, the cash aspect is what I want to talk about. So how has the school been able to, for instance, get cash out of the trash?
Is the cash flowing out of the trash?
No, we are beginning, but from all indication in our primary school sectors, if we are preparing the mind of these younger kids to know how to be self-reliant from the initial state is very important, because now they are if I say this tool will be molded and be sold at the price of so. Even after the primary school, instead of the children to be playing, going on these social vices, they will busy themselves doing one or two things. They will even open a shop. If you go to universities or NC, you will see this art and craft department. So you will build the interest of doing this creative arts from the primary school sector.
Because more or less, still building on the issue of skill acquisition. It's actually a skill that you learn from school, and then you'll be able to have the raw materials in the environment to use, more or less encouraging skill acquisition, right?
Yes. Okay. In as much as this project is taking the school, to serve as a pivot where you can launch to other places, do you have plans also to take it outside the environment of schools, either to the mainstream or society in towns?
100%. Okay. In fact, my target is not just Adamawa School. My target is the world, actually. So for a start, the school year. But then we're trying to launch into other local government areas so that if we're able to construct a bank in, say, Giri local government. Now it's the responsibility of people of Giri to ensure that that bank is full with all the different kind of trash they can get. And then by the time it's full to an appreciable quantity, they can now process the ones that need to be processed. reuse the ones that need to be reused, and then make money from both the processing and the reuse. So that way it's a form of empowerment for the people of Gire. So I hope to do that, not just in Gire, I hope to do it in Fufure, I hope to do it in Togo, do you understand? So that way, yeah, sure, definitely.
And interestingly, you know, to those who don't understand it, when they see someone on the street begin to pick some stuff like this, you know, it's what they call babumbola. But actually, it's been transformed, translated into, we've seen it happen several times.
My dress is actually a patchwork.
Oh, so the patches and the breeches has come from
different shades of different materials that are not really used. So you just put them together and make something.
So there's no waste anymore.
So there's really nothing as waste. Thank you very much. It just depends on how you see it, and always remember, you don't have to impress the community.
Oh, sure.
You always have to be yourself. And if you think this is right, then sure, why not? So the right thing to do is to save, reduce the rate at which we generate waste. So if I can actually reuse something, why not?
Interesting. Marlon Nairo, have you been able to, or have you thought over it, you know, to take it out from your school premises even to your own neighborhood?
Interestingly, when we started this program at Rumde Jabi Nursery and Primary School, all the community members were around, more especially these women. They have started learning these things so seriously. So also applicable to Urocheke. And some women are even coming to help us in even pounding, you know, they are good in pounding.
Sure.
You know, it's an interesting work. I even pounded it.
Oh, you did?
By myself.
Oh, great.
So many women develop interest, and youths of that community develop serious interest on this program. And they have been asking me, how are they going to do it? We did it together with them, and even with the co-member and sustainability department active.
Former co-member.
Former co-member. And presently, with APTI. I will not say that one. I will not say that one. So there is quite interesting and encouraging. People of the community embrace it. And even some of them commended us by making the school environment very clean.
Yes, that is what I want to say.
There is one nurse who is just by the side of the school. If she is watching this program now, she will call us and say, yes, it's true. She stopped her vehicle on the way and said, this school is very neat these days. Why? I said, this is a club that is introduced. No paper will be seen on the ground again. And I gave every class a dustbin, so that every paper, and I seriously advise them not to be tearing their books. You know, children, if they see this program, they will start tearing their exercise books, putting their families in problem. I even assigned some of my assistants and some of my senior teachers to be monitoring the books of those children, so that they will not be tearing their exercise books for this program. There is a specific way of doing it. You know, in every organization, in the federal colleges, in universities, in ministries, if you go, you will see papers, waste papers. So now they are now bringing papers to the school.
You may be wondering why I am packaging these papers like this, because after the show,
partner with them.
After the show, I will pound myself also. It's for cash.
Really great, but then you have to bring something to support the school. Like, you know what I mean? We need the money, right?
Anyway, Jennifer, thank you so very much. Thank you also. We just hope that you keep, you know, this particular good work going.
Thank you
so that we'll have a better and a cleaner society when these kids grow up.
That's right.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
In the nutshell, I want to thank those community members and the LES and the APTI American University and the ECF for giving us the support, because APTI American University gave me 28 seats. That which was made by paper stool. So if you go to my office, somebody told me, is it a drum that they used to be there? I said, no, it's a seat. So it's quite interesting.
Interesting.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Well, cash for trash, what do you expect? It's just, you know, start thinking outside the box and see how you can make use of, you know, the trash you generate in your house, in your community, and, you know, turn it into something very usable. That's been Jennifer Paul, and who is the founder, Cash for Trash, and I hear Chiroma, head teacher with Cheke Nursery and Primary School here in Yola, talking to us about how to reuse our trash in the society. We'll return after this break with yet another conversation, get towards improving the leadership, you know, of our youths in the nearest future. We'll be right back.